Hi, my name is Deven Mahale. I'm here with Gateway Flight Training, and as you can see, I am pre-flighting this plane here. When I fly the airplane, I feel really in control and I feel really relaxed. The mix of seeing the views and just controlling where you go it's a really fun adventure. It's something you don't get to do every day, and then once you start doing it, it's like you're addicted to it. You never want to stop, so that's why I really like it. I would say if you have an interest in aviation, to go for it. It's a really fun opportunity. It's like an experience you'll never feel before. Like the first time you're in the car and you drive for yourself, it's like that, but like 100 times better. Just to control the plane by yourself. If you're really interested in it, try to find like a good flight school like Gateway Flight Training. It's really fun to like be with your instructor and learn. So I'd say go for it. I'm interested in taking flight lessons with Gateway because I want to be a professional pilot in my career. I think flying is really fun and really relaxing, and I think it's a really good and interesting job for me. So as we get in the cockpit here, you want to familiarize yourself with all the instruments. Over here you have your airspeed indicator and knots. It's just telling you how fast you're going through the air. You have other things like your altimeter. It's just telling you your elevation. This is your VOR navigation if you want to navigate to like VORs or DMEs. You got your RPM, how fast the engine's running, fuel selector. You got your throttle, your mixture, wrapping up a few other things, attitude indicator, heading indicator, your magnetic compass. You have all your electronics like your transponder, your radios, and other things that are essential through your flight. You want to make sure your circuit breakers are all in. And during the flight and your run-up and everything, you always want to be double-checking everything's in the green here with your fuel pressure, oil temp, and oil pressure. So if you begin your training, you're probably going to start off in something like this. It's a P8 38 Tomahawk. It's very light, it's pretty easy to fly, it lifts off the ground super easy. It's really easy to control too. You can control it with 3 fingers just like that. It's not hard at all to control. You got your elevators down there. It controls your, when you're on the ground, you can go left or right or up in the air, it controls your yaw. But overall, this aircraft is super easy to control. Flaps are not even that hard. Flaps are not that hard to control either. But everything about this airplane pretty much has a self-autopilot. If you get up in the air in smooth air, you trim it out, you can use your feet to steer it for the next 80 miles. So far, I have about 15 hours with this plane, mostly just in the traffic pattern here at 1HO, Creve Coeur Airport. We have gone down a little bit south. We've also gone to St. Louis Downtown Airport. That was really fun. You get to land on the big runway. It's truly a new adventure, but that was really fun. Mostly just here at 1HO, we're practicing just the basics like turns and stuff. Coming up, we're going to do my cross country. So that's going to be to Jefferson City and back. So that's going to be a long haul, but I'm excited to do that one. I take ground school with Gateway Flight Training as well. That's really nice. Their instructor Alan he's really good. He's really patient with us, and it helps me learn a lot too. Yeah, the online class is really nice. You can just we do it like every Wednesdays. It's just from home. You just turn on to Zoom, and it's really nice. He's really slow with you, and he explains everything really nice. So it's a good fit. I hope to finish my PPL with Gateway Flight Training and advance my career, possibly getting my instrument rating and my commercial as well, because I hope to be one day a commercial pilot, maybe up in the skies flying for American or something like that. But I really hope to advance my career in aviation. I think it's really fun, and even though I'm starting out in these small planes, it's still really fun. But one day I hope to be in the big 747, so that's what I aspire for.
Hey Deb, we ready to go?
Ready to go.
How much fuel we got?
Got about 7 today, not that much.
Not that much? How much we got in this tank?
This tank we have about 2, and that tank we have about 5.
So we need to put some fuel in it before we go on. Okay. How much oil we got on board?
Just over 6, almost 7 quarts in there.
Okay. So all we got to do is put some fuel in. We'll be ready to go.
We'll be ready to go.
Sounds good. Let's go get some fuel. So, Dev, what's the plan for today? You're the pilot.
I think we're just going to go through the traffic pattern, do a couple of landings.
Sounds good.
Half or 2 hours by myself. I just did my first solo the other day, and that was really fun actually for the first time flying the airplane by myself. It was a weird feeling, but it was really fun because with the training with my instructor Tony, I could fall back on that and try not to make any mistakes, and it was just a really fun opportunity. Yeah, flying solo, it's interesting at first. Sometimes it's nervous for the very first time, but once you're up in the air and everything is going good, there's really not that much of a difference. It's just like if SE was sitting there and everything was going good, I follow my procedures, I just do everything, and I enjoy the view.
For traffic, come on, 255 Bravo's final for runway 34, Creve Coeur traffic.
Look at that. Look at that. Look at that.
Every single time. And I told his parents, I said, you see that? I can't teach that. I cannot teach that. That's Deven. That is all Deven. I can't teach that. And they goes, well, you're a good teacher. I said, no, you don't understand. I can't teach that. That's all him.
Hello, my name is Deven Mahale, and I'm a student here at Gateway Flight Training at Creve Coeur Airport. Yeah, so right now I'm going to be a senior in high school. I'm thinking about going maybe part-time to college this year so I can get a little head start in college. But my main goal in college is to further my career in aviation. My dream really is one day to be like an airline pilot or a commercial pilot. That just seems really fun. Just every day you go to a different location, you see something new. So that sounds like a really fun job to me. I would say I was first interested in just aviation probably around the age of 5. Every time we went on a vacation or anything, I loved it. I love going to the airport. I love seeing all the airplanes. When we went in the airplane, I would love to look in the cockpit, and I would always look out the window and stuff. I was just that type of kid. So it just seemed really interesting to me. And I'd probably around my whole life from 5 to 15, I was just super interested in aviation. But right around 15, we drove by Creve Coeur Airport a lot, which is where we are now, and I would just see the small planes taking off and going, and I just thought that'd be really fun to do one day. So around 16, I think, I thought about going into flight school. I wasn't really sure what it all entailed, but yeah, I started flight school, and it's been really fun so far.
Hi everyone, I'm Tony Jestis. I'm a flight instructor with Gateway Flight Training. I'm also a check pilot. We were off for quite a while due to the COVID crisis, and Deven put his time to good use. When we were he was getting ready to solo when the crisis hit, and I was like, oh great, now what I'm doing? I'm going to go out. We're going to have to do landings all over again. This is not good. And to come out, I said, well, Dev, I said, what have you been doing? Oh, I've been practicing takeoffs and landings. I went, excuse me? Oh, I've got the Tomahawk on my X-plane at home. I've probably done 10,000 landings already at Creve Coeur. I go, okay, this is good. Have you been over to St. Louis downtown where we were going to practice? Oh yeah, I've done about 5,000 there. I'm like, okay, well, gee, why don't we just go fly and see what happens? So we went out, reviewed maneuvers with him, used stalls, steep turns, all the typical maneuvers, just to make sure he didn't get any bad habits. Came back, did 3 landings, and I said, give me your logbook. I'm getting out. And so I signed his logbook off, and he goes, well, what do you want me to do? I said, give me 3 normal landings into the wind on, what was it 3-4 or 1-6 that day?
The day was 3-4.
Was it 3-4 that day? I said, give me 3 full stops right into the wind. Winds were calm, and he come in, and the first one he was a little wobbly. Second one was okay. Third one he was right on the button, and I warned him. I said, now when I get out of this thing, It's going to climb better. It's going to fly faster. When you get into the downwind, you're probably going to hit pattern altitude before you even turn downwind. I said, then when you get up there, you're probably going to pull the power back just a little bit more than what you're used to. He said, okay, I got it. I'm like, yeah, we'll see. And of course, he takes off, and the airplane leaps off the ground in about a third of the distance it usually did. I said, take off a little early. He goes, yeah, that was quick. that was quick. And of course, I had a handheld with me. I always do that. I usually do 3 supervised solos. I have a handheld to make sure everything's fine. And he got in the down when he did his 3 landings. I said, so what do you think of those landings? He goes, it wants to float more when your fat behind's not in here. So, but since then he soloed. How many more have you done? What, 2 or 3 times? I think you did 1 more supervised solo, and I realized that typically I do 3. After the second one, I thought, you know what, this kid was born to fly. I've trained students like Dev. Well, I've been training for 30 years. And in my entire 30-year career as an instructor, I've had 2 students like Deven. There are people who can learn to fly. There are people who, no matter how much of the instruction they learn, they will never be able to fly. And then there are people like Deven who were born to fly. There's one thing, when he first came back, we went out to practice maneuvers, and I said, okay, Dev, we need to do some steep turns. And typically we do them about 3,000 feet. Just what I like to do. And I'm looking at the altimeter, and it's glued to 3,000 feet, and the needles aren't moving. And I'm looking at him, and I'm looking at that altimeter, and I'm looking at him, and I'm tapping on the altimeter, and I'm tapping on it some more, and I'm twisting the Colesman window, and I'm tapping on it, and I'm looking at him. I go, "You've been practicing?" And that's when I realized that he'd been sitting at home in front of that X-plane, doing nothing but flying maneuvers and doing stuff, because his altitude was glued. But the next step in the process is we do a cross country to Jefferson City and back. Jefferson City is the one I like to do. It's real easy. If everything goes completely nuts, the instruments fail, the pilot fails, the pilotage fails, the map blows out the window, the batteries go dead, you simply look out the window, you find the Missouri River will take you to Jeff City. But then after that, then we really start going places. We do some VOR navigation. VOR, for those of you that don't know what a VOR is, VOR stands for Very High Frequency Omnidirectional Radio. It's a fancy $5 word that simply means you twist a device until the needle centers, and it takes you to this upside down ice cream cone on the ground, and once you get there, you know where you're at. And from there you can figure out, well, let's see, the ice cream cone is here, and I need to go that way. So I'll now go, let's see, we draw a line. The line says it goes through the 030, so I twist 030, and I make sure the needle's centered, and it'll take me that way. That's obviously an oversimplification, but that's basically how it works. Yeah, we have a progression of aircraft for the skills we're trying to develop. We've got the Tomahawk as a primary trainer for those people who either aren't comfortable with it or just want something a little bigger, a little more like mom's sedan. We've got the Piper Warrior, which is it's used primarily as an instrument trainer, but we can use it as a primary trainer. And then for commercial flying, or for actually deciding, hey, let's go up to Oshkosh for a cheeseburger, then we can hop in the beach debonair, and it does 150 knots and climbs at 800 feet a minute, and it's really going places airplane. And then when he gets really, 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 really tired of flying that fast, then I think we got a 310 that we use. A 310. We got Fred Yeager's 310, which is a super hot rod 310 that it'll blow your socks off. That's one of the fastest 310s I've ever been in.
I'm proud and I'm excited, but this for us as his parents, it was really a shocker. Deven's he's always been a very ambitious and kind of rambunctious and always exploring.
Rambunctious?
Yeah,
I don't know what you're talking about.
But he's been a musician from a very small age, and we just assumed when we started last year looking at colleges that he was going to be a music teacher or something like that. And we kept driving by the airport here down 141, and he would see these planes, and I said, those are people probably taking lessons. And he said, what? I said, yeah. He told my husband, I said, let's just take him out there and put him in a plane, and he'll do the little exploration flight, and he'll land, and it'll be out of his blood, and he'll be done,
Wrong.
No, it was like, as soon as he landed, I mean, the grin was ear to ear, and we knew then we were in trouble.
Well, he wanted to go to college to be a pilot. So before we ended up spending hundreds of thousands of dollars on a college degree, we wanted to make sure that he actually flew in a plane and he actually got the experience and knew that that is what he wanted to do.
So I'm glad that he's determined and he has a vision and a path and all that. I just want to say too, like, I'm so glad, like, when we started this, we literally just looked in the phone book or looked online. Oh, he wants to take flight lessons.
Where do we go?
Where do you go? How do you find that, you know? And we found 2 or 3 in the area and just kind of called them up for a brief conversation, and I am really glad we picked Gateway. I mean, everybody's been just so nice and patient. I mean, I know, like, when Deven started, he was 16, and I realized, like, a lot of guys that are older and have a lot of flight experience aren't that patient with kids, you know, and so I'm glad that we found Tony and Brian at Gateway.